Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Hello everyone and welcome. It must be Tuesday because this is Ask Rob and Rob, and every Tuesday we turn up to answer your wonderful property questions. And of course, we will deliver on that promise. We've got two brilliant questions coming up, but before we do, let's tell you how you can get on the show.
Yep, if you thought up the question, that's the hard part. Getting it to us is dead easy. All you got to do is pick up the phone and call 013 808 00035. That's 013 808 00035. Alternatively, you can go over to thepropertyhub.net/ask. So our first question this week comes in from Adam from Hertford.
Hi Rob and Rob, it's Adam from Hertford here. Thank you guys for putting out all your free content. It's really helped me on my property journey. My question relates to the economic cycles which you've highlighted on your 18-year property cycle podcast quite recently. But my specific question is relating to the economic cycles of rental yield and rental income. I was wondering if you can draw any conclusions between the 18-year property cycle and rental yields during that period of time. Any insight on that would be much appreciated.
Thanks Adam, thanks for your question. And lovely part of the world, not too far from me. Big fan of Hertford. It's a great question and even greater timing because this Thursday we've got a podcast on the 18-year property cycle. It's a two-parter. We're going to deep dive into it, but this sets us up nicely for that. So to answer your question, Adam, yields absolutely do change throughout the cycle. When a cycle begins and property has just undergone a correction or a crash, then yields are very, very attractive. And really for most people, that's all you can attach yourself to at that point because there isn't really any capital growth. The only way to make money through property is through the yields because property prices have come down so much but rents haven't adjusted as much, means that property values decrease, rents stay roughly where they were, so therefore yields have improved. Fantastic. Now as you go through the property cycle, over time those yields will start to diminish and become less and less, and that's okay because what happens to make up for that is you start to see a little bit of capital growth. Until you get to the second half of the 18-year property cycle, where actually yields aren't that attractive at all. But to more than make up for it at this point, and this is where we're pretty much getting into now, is capital growth is really starting to kick in. And you'll make far much more money from the capital growth than you will from the rental yields. But a word of caution. We're going to go into this nice run of more capital growth now and less on the yields. And that's okay as long as you don't overextend yourself. Make sure that the yields are enough to cover all your costs and make a bit of profit. Remember, you're trying to buy an asset, something that pays you money, not a liability, something that costs you money. You'll find to enjoy this capital growth and accept the lower yields for the next 5 or so years. But remember, after that, we're going to go into what we call the winner's curse. And the winner's curse is that last bit of acceleration of growth before a dip. Now, the temptation will be to get in that market at any cost and accept little or no yield at all. But you want to avoid that because property prices will be close to peaking. And if you're still investing then, you've left it too late. The good news is, after that correction though, yields will be good again. So it is a cycle. It's an interesting one. And hence why we've got 2 podcasts coming up on it soon.
All right, Adam, I hope that answers your question. Let's have our next one now from Gareth in Bournemouth.
Hi, Rob and Rob. It's Gareth here from Bournemouth. Question is, I bought a house about 4 years ago in Manchester, and the value's gone up about 100,000. And I was thinking of remortgaging and taking some money out of it to buy more property. I can see the upsides, but I can't quite see the downsides. And I was wondering if you could explain the downsides of remortgaging to take money out of the property. Thank you.
Another favourite place of mine, Rob. We've got great places this week. I absolutely love Bournemouth.
And another of your favourite places is Manchester. And from an investment point of view, you can totally see why. Gareth, is this a question or is this a thinly veiled attempt to brag? Well done, 100k increase in your property value in 4 years. That's awesome. So quite naturally, you want to get your hands on that money. And why not? Well, the only reason why not is it's going to increase your mortgage payments. So say you bought the property at 75% loan to value, and that's fallen to 50%, 60% over time as the mortgage has stayed constant and the value of the property has gone up. By remortgaging back up to 75% again, you're borrowing more money, which means the interest on that money will cost you more. Wrapped up in that sentence are the only 2 negatives really. You're borrowing more money, so it's going to cost you more, and your loan to value is going to be higher, so you're a little bit more exposed if prices do move in the other direction. But those are the only two downsides. And that's where the mentality of a property investor is very different from most people. And it's about using debt intelligently, not being reckless, not over borrowing, but using it as a tool. Many people are in the mindset of wanting to pay their mortgages off and be debt free. And if there's a particularly good reason why you want to be doing that at your present phase in life, then that's fine. But if you're still in that accumulation phase, then borrowing more money, increasing leverage back up to where it was before, and having higher interest payments isn't anything to worry about, as long as you're using that money to buy property that's going to give you a higher return than the money you're borrowing. This also links nicely back into what Rob was just talking about with the property cycle. The other thing to be concerned about would be if you were taking that money out to buy property at a point when property was really, really overvalued in that winner's curse phase, and then the value of all your properties subsequently declines. Definitely not something you want to be doing. So it can be a really good idea or it can be a really bad idea, and it depends on the point of the cycle that we happen to be in. Where in the cycle are we and how can you recognise that? Well, you'll find out in the property podcast over the next couple of weeks.
So make sure you absolutely join us for Thursday, where we'll take you through year by year the property cycle, so you know exactly what to do next and where to invest. And remember, it's super simple to get your questions in and be part of the show. Go to thepropertyhub.net/ask. But until Thursday, when we'll be back, and of course next Tuesday with another Ask Rob and Rob, all it leaves us to do is say goodbye.
Bye-bye.